Students, you are most welcome in the Economic IAS YouTube channel. As I started previous year question analysis, but today I think that I should also analyze the current issues which are discussed in the Hindu newspaper day to day, so that you can upgrade your knowledge, and in coming Mains 2026 as well as coming 2027 preliminary, you can utilize these data. Today I will discuss simultaneously two major issues and discussions which were given in the Hindu newspaper on 6 June 2026. On one side, there is the Monetary Policy Committee, Monetary Policy Declaration. On other side, there is the GDP growth rate declaration by Chief Economic Advisor of Government. Why I am taking both the issues simultaneously? Because you can understand the linkage effect of monetary policy on GDP growth rate. First, I will discuss the growth rate which were declared by our Chief Economic Advisor. It is declared that during 2025-26, India GDP growth rate is being 7.7% per year. This is higher than previous year 2024-25, which was 7.1% per year. It means in recent, our GDP growth rate is higher 7.7%. Why it is higher? What are the fundamental factors behind it, this higher growth rate? You also consider about that one. There are the two major issues of or growth rate factors, that is consumption and investment. Private final effective consumption expenditure growth rate during this year is being 7.7% according to the Hindu analysis, or which is given by our Chief Economic Advisor. Due to investment assets formation rate, assets growth rate is being 8.1% per year for this year. It means if you consider consumption and investment, both are the component of aggregate demand. If our aggregate demand is high, automatically growth rate is high, which was 7.7%, higher than previous year 7.1%. Now we are clear why this growth rate is high. One side I explained macroeconomic fundamental, aggregate demand is higher, which is responsible for this, or you can say demand lead growth rate in our economy, as well as supply lead growth rate, because 8.1% of capital formation rate in our economy is not listed. It is higher than our effective consumption expenditure. That's why our economy is growing, and this is contributed by manufacturing industries, which growth rate was during this year was 10.3% per year. On other side, agriculture growth rate was less than previous year, 3.5% per year. Service sector growth rate 7.3% per year. All these fundamental factors are responsible for this high growth rate, because our macroeconomic policies, you can say fiscal policy and monetary policy, both were supporting. There is no crowding out. Actually, there is the crowding in effect. Student, in 2026 preliminary UPSC asked the question, what do you mean by crowding out effect? Now you will also understand with the help of this crowding out effect, but presently I am discuss only one thing, the growth rate of this year. These are the fundamental explained by our Chief Economic Advisor, and he also explained that our foreign exchange reserve position is good, forex is good, more than $650 billion. More than $650 billion. Our economy show the price stability. Inflation rate is being during this year less than 5% on the basis of consumer price index. Yet our base year also changed by the government 2022-23 this year, and changing methodology of estimates of national income, different kinds of policy tools or policy measures which were taken by the government. I will summarize these one, which are responsible. All macroeconomic fundamentals are very, very strong in this financial year. What they are, you have to understand one by one. That is our trade policy. Government make a free trade agreement with different countries. Government also participate or engage the trade with small country, Nordic country also. Recently, as you know, Prime Minister of India visited our Nordic country, where we are searching some kind of new source of petrol, as well as we try to export some commodities to these countries. As you know, at international level, China, Russia, India and America are come together. Russian President, our Vladimir Putin, specifically says that the delicate relation between China and India is very good for the future. They will resolve their problem of border issue, etc. very easily. Further, he says that India and America relations is good for the future of the global economy, and I am not have any kinds of problem with these kinds of relations, and never like to disturb the India-China, India-America relations, because India is our traditional partner and the growth rate of India is the highest growing economy in the global, and it is supported because of hard work of our Prime Minister, Dr. Mr. Narendra Modi. Hard work of our Prime Minister. He always think about every issue, as you can see. 1 month ago, what he says on the issue of this Iran and America war conditions. He said we should save petrol, foreign exchange. We should not participate any foreign visit. We should minimize our petrol consumption by carpooling strategy. Means saving concept is there. Further, he said we should maximally consume our domestic product rather than foreign product, so that we can save our foreign exchange and we can face different unforeseen conditions which is expected to be. On the same ground, our monetary authority, monetary policy committee, as our governor of RBI declared that the 5 June 2026 monetary policy norms, that is repo rate, reverse repo rate, standing deposit facility or marginal standing facility rate remaining constant, and there is no change in bank rate, in that is open, that is SLR, CRR. Their all variables are remaining constant. What they are? Recent monetary policy declare that repo rate will remaining the same at 5.25%. On the basis of this repo rate, marginal standing facility rate 5.5% remaining the same, standing deposit facility rate remaining the same, that is 5%. That kinds of policy declaration have some kinds of implications. What they? Now I will explain those implications on the basis of economics theory and principles. You know, our RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra ji assumed, monetary policy committee also assumed that in international market during 2026-27 international petrol price will be $95 per barrel. On the basis of this high price of crude oil, inflation or price will increase, and it will be on the basis of consumer price index 5.1%. It is the upper limit of price. As you know, RBI determined the lower limit 3%, upper limit 5%. If our price fluctuates in between these two limits, there is no problem, there is no change in our monetary policy tools. All will remaining constant. On the basis of these fundamental variables, our governor of RBI Sanjay Malhotra ji also predicted GDP growth rate. Student, memorize these data. Why? In your preliminary 2027, they will ask what is the predicted growth rate of RBI priorly for this financial year, this prior prediction. it was 6.9% GDP growth rate, but recent prediction is that is 6.6%, expected 3% reduction because of high price rise. Now, think sharply. If our RBI increase the repo rate, then automatically standing deposit facility also increase, marginal standing facility rate also increase. First, you know what is the difference between repo and marginal standing, bank rate, etc. You know, marginal standing facility rate is that rate of interest at which commercial bank can borrow from RBI at very short term period, say up to 7 days, hour base. Repo rate is that rate at which commercial bank can borrow from the RBI for mid-term period, that is known as our repo rate. Both are different. What is the repo? What is the standing deposit facility rate? Standing deposit facility rate is that at which our commercial bank can park their excess fund with RBI and RBI will pay the rate of interest at that. Marginal standing facility rate is that at which commercial bank can borrow for very short term period if all these variables are constant by keeping in view these kinds of inflationary pressures and these kinds of loss in our GDP. If our RBI further increase the bank rate, repo rate, etc., then what happened? Just you consider increasing repo rate, increase the market rate of interest, or you can say cost of investment. Cost of investment means if cost of investment increase, that can discourage the private sector investment. This is known as technically crowding out. Crowding out. Decreasing investment definitely decreased the GDP growth rate further, and it was higher than this 0.3%. One thing is very clear. One side investment decrease, other side due to high cost of loan, our durable consumption demand of credit also decline. Means, as I give you the statistics, according to Chief Economic Advisor, during 2025-26, effective private consumption expenditure grew by 7.7%. One major factor was low rate of interest in the market, which is motivating the consumer to purchase more durable goods. You can analyze, you can see in newspaper during 2025-26 financial year, the demand of automobile product is higher, demand of other durable goods are higher. What does it mean? All over demand, consumption demand is high. That is motivating the more investment. That is why during this financial year, there was the crowding in effect. Crowding in effect means it is motivating the private sector enterprises to invest more in economy. That's why we achieved the higher growth rate during this financial year, 7.7%, as I discussed with you priorly. And now you are very clear why the RBI is not changing. Our governor also declared clear that our own macroeconomic fundamental, it may be foreign exchange reserve more than $650 billion. It may be incoming foreign investment, direct or portfolio, both are coming more. It may be our agriculture sector growth rate, which is also gained by our Chief Economic Advisor 3.5% during the financial year 2025-26. It was 4.2% during 2024-25. Manufacturing sector growth rate was 10.3% during the 24-25-26. It is further expected to be higher in this coming year. Why? Because of low rate of interest. Now you can understand very easily what are the linkage effects between growth rate and monetary policy norms, and why our RBI Monetary Policy Committee remaining the constant all monetary norms, yet they are expected to further increase in price, and if there is the price hike, definitely our RBI can change this monetary, and automatically that one can change the growth pattern of our economy in future. What will be? It depends on the certainty of global environment. If there is the pact between Iran and America, if there is the pact between Ukraine and Russia, if there is the pact between Lebanon and Israel, if there is the pact between Israel and Iran, then definitely the growth rate may be higher than the predicted growth rate 6.6% by the RBI, and maybe the further reduction in the repo rate, marginal standing facility or standing deposit facility, etc. by the RBI. This is something about monetary policy, GDP growth rate, current issues. I will further discuss the same issues in coming days with same our previous year question analysis, because that kinds of analysis is very interesting to you. In student, if you follow this YouTube channel, definitely you will be better off, because my explanation you can compare with more whom you think that they are the better expert. After then you can analyze who is better. I am not giving the challenge, but I am advise you to compare the lecture, quantity of the lecture, quality of the lecture, source of the discussions, etc. Finally, you can realize definitely the faculty who are teaching economics optional also is better explainer than the faculty who are only teaching the GS economy. That's why I am also teach the students economics optional, as I priorly discussed with you, and I also starting the some optional paper question analysis in coming my lecture. Thank you, students.